Alright, hello, so welcome to my hot wash video. For this unit, I'm gonna do a little run through of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase mechanism. So this is gonna take place in glycolysis, and it is the sixth step of glycolysis. And this is a step where we're gonna take glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and turn it into 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. And this is kind of the first step of the energy regeneration phase of glycolysis. So not just 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate are we going to make, we're also going to make some NADH. And the meat of this reaction is we're going to replace this hydrogen with a phosphate group. But of course, it's never as simple as just yanking it off and putting something back on. We have to go through a couple of intermediates, and that includes some covalent catalysis as well as some redox reactions. Okay, so this is how it starts. So this is the active site up here that we're looking at. And there's a couple of important features here. So one is this cysteine residue right here. And I took the liberty of just starting us at a place where this is already deprotonated and ready to go. But usually it's going to be protonated and have a little H on it and not this negative charge. But it does need to be deprotonated for what it's about to do, which is a nuke attack on the gap here. Another important feature is this NAD+, and although this isn't like a part of the enzyme, like it's not a component of it like the cysteine group is, it does have to be in the active site before this reaction can start. Same thing with the gap, it has to be here before the reaction can start. And then we can begin. So we have this deprotonated cysteine. We'll go and do a nuke attack here on the carbonyl, and it's going to form this thioester bond here, so it's just done some covalent catalysis, and we're left with this negatively charged oxygen in this intermediate, and that's one of the reasons it's important to have this NAD+ here initially, is so that this positive charge here can help stabilize the negative charge created here. And then from here, we're going to want to regenerate that carbonyl. We're going to have this hydrogen electrons from here attacking the NAD+. And that's going to create this NADH. So the NAD+ was just reduced into NADH. And then still we have this thioester bond here. So from here, the NADH is going to leave, and it's going to be replaced by a new NAD+. And it's also going to bring in an inorganic phosphate to the active site. And it's really important to note here, this is not a phosphate from an ATP. This is just an independent inorganic phosphate. The reason this is important to note is, as I said, this is the beginning of the energy regeneration phase of glycolysis. So we're not here trying to use up more ATP, we're trying to make it back. And instead it's going to be the eventual breaking of this thioester bond that's going to drive this reaction forward energetically and allow it to happen. Alright, so from here, we're going to go through basically the same process as we did earlier during the reaction, and we're going to have some covalent catalysis, this phosphate attacking the carbonyl, and creating this similar sort of intermediate that we saw before, with the negatively charged oxygen being stabilized by the NAD+. And again, that's why it's important to go ahead and have this leave and then bring in a new one. It's because it has this really important role in stabilization of the intermediate. But this time, instead of knocking off a hydrogen, when we bring these electrons back down, we're going to knock off this cysteine. And this is the enzyme regeneration part of this step. So we can add a hydrogen in here, and bam, the cysteine is back to how it used to be in the active site, and we have our final product of 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. But again, important to note, it's not just the 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate that we made, it's also NADH, and that was made right here. And so what is the significance of the NADH? Because when I first learned this, I was wondering kind of why was this step specifically the start of the energy regeneration, because we didn't make ATP, but it's because of the NADH. So the NADH can go on to feed electrons into the electron transport chain, which then helps to create that proton gradient that will power the ATP synthase and create ATP. So in the long run, the NADH generates energy, and that's going to be about 2.5 ATP per NADH produced. That's the gap dehydrogenase mechanism. Thanks for watching.